under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday evening. I know the hell I am. Welcome to Stateside Footy, the first of a two-match doubleheader tonight here on the channel. First up, obviously, is the Club World Cup Watchalong Seattle Sounders versus Athletco Madrid, followed by the U.S. men's national team taking on Saudi Arabia in the Gold Cup. A lot of good football action tonight here on the channel. Make sure you hit your like and subscribe buttons. All that good stuff, because we're in a race for 1,000 subs. Listen, this summer is unbelievable. A lot of good football. Specifically speaking, U.S. football. So, yeah, man, I can't just get over just exactly how awesome the summer has been and what will be. All right, so. The FIBA Club World Cup. I know there's been a lot of shit talked about this tournament from a European standpoint. Nobody really likes this tournament outside of South American countries and here in the North America. An opportunity to see some of the world's best, and if you're a Major League Soccer fan like I am, an opportunity to see exactly where we are as a league, specifically teams. Versus the world best. And tonight is exactly that. Atletico Madrid, well, granted, it's not Real Madrid or FC Barcelona, but a solid La Liga team facing up against one of the better Major League Soccer teams over the course of the last 15 years. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm excited. I don't know exactly how to put it. I actually think that this tournament, in a vacuum, is actually really good. Specifically, not just for North American fans, but also South American fans too, that really kind of push back against the Eurocentric thought process when it comes to global football. I think that, in the most part, when you talk to an average English football fan, they'll say Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, then Club World Cup. But that being said, when you talk to, level-headed American fans, I'm sure they're going to acknowledge that this probably just is a cash grab. But that being said, when you look at where we are as a soccering nation compared to the rest of the world, you have seen this league grow leaps and bounds, which is absolutely fantastic. The money's pretty good. We're starting to actually see, DPs that are actually raising the level of talent in this league. That being said, yeah, of course there's challenges in this league. Some of the rules are stupid. But that being said, you get an opportunity in form as, like we're in the middle of the season now. So a lot of these teams are in form. Some of them, some of them are still dealing with injuries. But that being said, you get to measure yourself against the world's best. And I actually like that because as a competitor, you want this. Now, granted, I understand there's a lot to fight. There's a lot to fight for the season, but there's nothing wrong with these type of tournaments to find out exactly as a player whether or not you match up. But this is also a very good. This is a very good tournament for young American players to be put on the world stage, to be put in front of European teams, coaches, and agents. For me, this is something that you should strive for if you are a Major League Soccer team to be in these type of tournaments. That's all I'm saying. All right. Tonight's starting lineups for Atletico Madrid, they're starting 11, and it looks like they're going to be coming out in a 4-4-2. In net for Madrid will be Oblak, a back four of Llorente, Jimenez, Lenormand, and Galan, a midfield four of Simeone, Barrios, Koke, and DePaul, and up top will be Sorloth and Julian Alvarez, the former Manchester City striker, who is now number one in the hearts of everyone in Madrid. For the Seattle Sounders, they'll be lining up at a 4-2-3-1, a double pivot. In net is going to be Stefan Fry, a back four of Reed Baker Whiting, Jackson Reagan, Josh Bell, and Rienzi. The double pivot is going to be Vargas and Roldan. A midfield three of Rothrock, Rusnak, and De La Vega, and Mazowski up top as, and it looks like, is Jordan Morris going to be available for this one? I don't think so. I think he's still kind of dealing with an injury, but that being, he's kind of on the bench. Same thing with Jesus Ferreira. So interesting matchup. And of course, in the first match of the, I believe it's Group B, that Sounders are in with PSG, Botafogo, and Atletico Madrid. Seattle lost 2-1 to Botafogo of Brazil. As a matter of fact, it was a loss, but it was a very good, tough fought game for Seattle. It's a shame that they lost, but it is what it is, man. When you put up good contests and good fights, and you come down on the losing side, you still have something to hang your head on. Atletico Madrid lost 4-0 to PSG. And so this is an opportunity for a team like Seattle to pick up a win, pick up some points, and put themselves in a position potentially to move on with game number 3 coming against PSG, with an opportunity to move on into the knockout rounds. Before we actually get into this, let's go over groups here at the Club World Cup. From Group A, Inter Miami and Palmeiras of Brazil are tied at 4 points after 2, with Porto with 1 and Al Ahly with 1 point. Group C, Bayern Munich heads that one with 3 points. Benfica and Boca Juniors with 1 point, and Auckland City, unfortunately, has given up 10 goals. Poor Auckland City. Group D, Flamengo of Brazil and Chelsea have 3 points. LAFC and El Tunis, unfortunately, have none. Group E, River Plate, 3 points, with Monterrey and Inter with 1 point, and the Jura Reds have yet to collect one, as the second game will be kicking off this weekend in most groups. And in Group F, the Mamelodi Sundowns lead with 3 points, Dortmund with 1, Fluminense of Brazil with 1, and Ulsan with no points. Group G, Juventus and Man City both have 3 points, with Wydad AC and El Ain with no points. Finally, Group H, Red Bull Salzburg has 3 points, followed by Real Madrid and El Hilal with 1 point, and Pachuca, unfortunately, has no points. As we look at some of these matches today, let's see. Palmeiras beat Al Ahly 2-0. Inter Miami beat Porto 2-1. Right now, obviously, coming up in just a few minutes will be Seattle and Atletico Madrid. But PSG and Botafogo go tonight at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, Benfica versus Auckland City, Flamengo versus Chelsea, LAFC versus El Tunis, Bayern versus Boca Juniors, and then, of course, Group F, Group H will go on Saturday and Sunday. So we will know actually how things are going to be shaking out as far as the knockout rounds as we start to shape this thing up. But that being said, back to Seattle and Atletico Madrid. And again, right? So I think I think a lot of American soccer fans will say that, well, yeah, okay, so they're here and they're going to be playing some of their well-known players, but are they really going to take this seriously? That's a great question. I would probably assume that from the context of money and what this will do as far as whether or not you win this tournament, that could be a case that they're probably going to take this thing seriously. I know for a fact South American clubs are definitely taking this, and North American clubs are definitely taking this tournament seriously. So it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge whether or not that's going to come into play. The question is Seattle capable of getting on an early roll, possibly getting a first goal, getting some momentum? That is yet to be seen. But, or is this going to be a case where Atletico's talent, regardless of whether or not they show up or not, is going to be too much and overwhelming? So we're going to find out real quick as we are checking to find out exactly where we are. And we have they have now kicked off at Lumen Field, so we're going to get underway here as Atletico will have possession here. As Atletico is going to be trying to pace us up the right-hand side. It has a nice little through ball first. Ball into the box. And it looks like Jackson Reagan was able to cut that off, and he's going to ping this one forward. But it looks like Atletico is there to corral this one in. All games are going to be on DAZN, as they're going to try to kick this one up the right-hand side. That's going to be tipped away, but Atletico will keep possession as they're going to continue to try to play this one in. But right there, I believe, is Vargas. But again, taken away by Atletico Madrid. Deep in Seattle's territories, they're going to try to play this one through. Off to the left-hand side, in the box. Ooh, that's a very, very nice deflection right there by Jackson Reagan. And it was Barrios who was played in. And it'll be an Athletico corner. Nice little crowd here in Seattle to watch the hometown Sounders. And here's the ball. It's going to get whipped in low. It's going to fly all the way over, headed back to the top of the box. Shot. And that ended up being a cross just wide and out by DePaul. There's Diego Simone, the head coach of Atletico Madrid. Seattle will have a goal kick as they're going to try to play this one out. Fry's going to boot this forward. Nice right there. As Christian Roljan will try to boot this one up right to the foot of Barrios. As the Sounders are having trouble playing this one out of the back. Here's Stefan Fry is going to boot this one forward. Trying to go up the left-hand side. Headed forward. And it looks like Mazovsky was trying to get that, but it was played back. So the goalkeeper. As now Atletico is going to try to play through Seattle's press, and they do. Up the right-hand side. Seattle's doing a nice job of pressing, but Atletico is, well, Atletico. And here's DePaul. As they're going to play this one forward. Here's Barrios. Plays it all the way out right as they're going to play this one forward. And it looked like that was Alvarez. That's taken away, it looks like, by Rienzi right there. And now Seattle's having a hard time of playing out of the back here. And De La Vega makes a bad pass, turned over. Here comes Atletico, played forward off the left-hand side. And that was headed on, but right at Stefan Fry. Good ball movement right there by Atletico Madrid. 4 minutes in. And Seattle's having trouble with Atletico's press. There's Brian Schmetzer. Here's Rienzi. Played it in. There's Obed Vargas. Dribbling the ball up. Nice little through ball. Just a little too heavy on that touch right there for Albert Rusnik, as that's going to be played back to Atletico's keeper. Oh, nice little run right there by Pedro de la Vega to tip that one out. So it'll be a Seattle throw-in, and it'll be Rienzi here, as the Lumen Field turf has been replaced with grass for this tournament. This one will be played up to Rienzi now. Rienzi with the ball. Played it in. Here's Roldan, forward. Rusnak in traffic. And it looks like it's going to be Paul Rothrock. Obed Vargas on the touchline to the right-hand side. Played it in. Bell. That's going to be tipped away. But there's Rienzi right there to corral it. Played back. As Roldan's looking up to Vargas, he does. And that ball's going to get played out, as he was looking for Pedro de la Vega on the right-hand side. Just too heavy of a touch. And now Atletico will throw in. Athletco Madrid had a pretty solid La Liga campaign, as Seattle will try to keep possession high up the pitch. But here comes Atletico. That's going to play it all the way to the right. Move central. Nice little layoff right there, but ooh. And now Rienzi has to do damage control, and he does, and there's Stefan Fry to corral the ball in. As that ball is going to get thrown all the way out to the left. Here's Baker Whiting. Out to Bell, who's got to play this one back to Fry now. In traffic. As he boots this one up. Nice little touch by Rothrock, but right there. Here's Pedro. There's Barrios right there for Atletico. Off to the right-hand side. Try to play this in. Ooh, nice. Nice deflection for the Sounders. Ooh, nice. And Baker Whiting's going to try to play this one up the left, and that's going to be tipped away. And Atletico will control possession here at midfield, at the midfield line, as they're looking forward to find out that ball's going to get played up the right-hand side successfully. As they're working it from right to left. Here's Barrios. Played it centrally. It looked like Alvarez tried to put one on. That gets deflected. And that's a nice little save right there by Jackson Reagan, who saved it from a corner as he kicked it out. As Galan will throw this one in, there's Barrios, who has to play this one back. Seattle has been on the back foot pretty much for the first 7 minutes of this first half. No surprise here. Here's Barrios. Oh, nice little play right there. And that's Pedro de la Vega. That's going to get whistled for the foul right there. Barrios, of course, I think he's 22. One of the better midfielders in Spain. Absolutely shook the checks right off of de la Vega's Nikes right there. He had no choice but to use the foot to draw the foul. Barrios had badly beaten him as he was moving into the box. Nice play right there by Barrios. So it'll be a free kick. And it looks like it will be DePaul right here standing over this free kick. And that ball's whipped in. Headed up. Oh, that ball's and then it's cleared out by Christian Roldan. But there's DePaul right there, who will again fling it in, but that's headed out. Can the Sounders clear? They do not. Here's DePaul, who's going to take a shot. That's going to get deflected all the way back. But Atletico will keep it in as they moved it out to the left-hand side. Whipped across, off the head, deflected. As now Atletico is right outside Seattle's box. That's going to get played in. Looks like Barrios with the touch. Moves, shoots. Oh, and he missed it. Oh, it was was Julian Alvarez, who was 1v1 and puts it wide. Oh, that was a goal right there. As Alvarez wheeled past Josh Bell and was 1v1 against Stefan Fry, who made a touch, but it goes wide past the post. Oh. The crowd size, my man, it's not a full house, but it's pretty damn close. Seattle will have a goal kick. I would probably say there's about maybe 50,000 in the house tonight. Maybe a little less. Seattle's going to try to play this one forward. Deflected. Can Seattle keep possession? Nope. It's Berrios who's going to play this one forward. Here's Berrios. Ooh, it's a goal. Oh, nice play right there by Athletco Madrid. That's a beautiful goal by Berrios right there. As that ball was played forward. As he got into the box, he cuts in, lays it off for Berrios, who puts a nice little shot on net. And all of a sudden, we're 10 minutes in, Athletco Madrid leads 1-0. That was beautiful. And Berrios was unmarked right at the top of the box, and it just bangs off the crossbar and down, just out of the outstretched hands of Stefan Fry right there. Absolutely gorgeous goal right there by Athletco Madrid, and it's 1-0. Ooh. So 11 minutes in, Athletco Madrid will take a 1-0 lead against the Sounders. Yeah, I would say that there's like a good 50,000 at the house tonight. Here's De La Vega. Played it centrally. Looks like it's Obed who's going to try to play this forward and try to get Rienzi on the ball, but too quick. And now Athletico is going to be on the counter now. And it looks like it's going to be Simeone playing it forward. And that ball was deflected to the feet of Stefan Fry, who's going to try to play this forward, and he does. Seattle's trying to weave their way up the field. Reed Baker-Whiting's going to pop this one straight up for some reason. And it'll come down now. And here's Barrios, who's going to lay this down to Lenormand. Play it off the right-hand side. And here's and they're going to have to play this all the way back to the keeper now. And that ball's going to get played all the way to the left. High up the pitch. Crossed in. Headed away. Nice play by Rienzi. And here's Pedro De La Vega, who's caught. He's got to play it back. Here's Jackson Reagan, trapped. And that goes out. Good pressing right there by Julian Alvarez. But it'll be a Seattle throw-in. And it'll be Athletico throw-in after a mishap. And it looks like Galan will throw this one in. Is this going to be played all the way back? Here's Jimenez. Out to Galan. Galan up the left-hand side is going to play this one forward to DePaul. Here's Galan. And they're going to have to drop this one back to Lenormand, who's going to immediately throw it up to DePaul. Here's Galan again. Galan's going to try to play this one forward, and he does. And here's Barrios off the left-hand side. Played it in. In the box is Alvarez. And you'll hand it back to Berrios. Berrios out left. Nice little footwork, give and go. Here's Barrios. And now Dale. Ooh. And there's a whistle. Nice play right there. Nice 1-2 passing between Barrios and DePaul. But it looked like it was Mazovsky right there, getting back on D right there, as he gets clipped by DePaul as he goes down. So Seattle will have the free kick now, as they're going to play this forward. Here's Roldan. Oh, that was just a bad touchback. Athletco Madrid off the interception. Here's Barrios off the left-hand side. Here's DePaul. Plays it forward. Off. Ooh! Ooh! And that was Sarloff right there, who had good service in, as the ball found his foot and he put it on net just over the crossbar. And that easily could have been 2-0, 15 minutes in. As that ball's played forward. Here's De La Vega. And there's a whistle. As Seattle cannot find any room to operate. And it has just been nothing but Athletco Madrid. As Sarloff again gets a great ball in from Barrios, as his ball drops and finds his foot. It just goes over the crossbar. As Seattle will take possession. Here's Vargas dribbling centrally. Tries to find a runner. Great defense right there by Athletico, taking away the passing channel. And now that ball is going to be played up, and Bell beats Sarloff to the ball. Seattle will take over possession. Here's Roldan, who's going to play it left. Here's Paul Rothrock. Here's Rusnik. Finds Roldan. Now it's Rusnik again. Jackson Reagan on the right. Out to Rienzi. Not much there. He's got to lay it back off. But that's a ball forward from Reagan. It's going to be Rusnik. Ball in. Ooh! Ooh! Oh! Nice pass into the ball from Albert Rusnik, who finds Musovsky 1v1, as that's deflected out past the post. And that was Seattle's first real opportunity. That was a good ball whipped in, and as Musovsky beats his man, but he can't shoot the ball around he can't shoot around the keeper right there, as it does go out. And I think this might be a Seattle corner. And it is, as Rusnik will take this one. That ball's played short all the way out now. And that ball's whipped in, tipped. And now it's going to try to get played out by Athletico. But it's going to be held in. Here's Musovsky, who's going to play it in. Reed Baker Whiting. Nice touch right there. Who's going to lay it back? Obed Vargas. Vargas is going to have to dribble out of trouble, and he does. As it's going to be played forward. It's Rothrock. Oh, and there it is right there. Yep. It's a free kick right outside the box, as Rothrock was absolutely manhandled by Galan. And Seattle now will have a free kick just right outside the 18-yard box off the right-hand side. Interesting. So here's Albert Rusnik. Can Seattle capitalize on this free kick right here? We are 18 minutes in. As the hand goes up. Ball's whipped in. Back post. Tip forward. Tried to get cleared. Here's Roldan. Deflected. And that's going to get out for a throw-in. Sounders putting on a little pressure here. Here's Christian Roldan. They're gonna have to retake this one. And there's Rienzi, who's standing over this throw-in. Can the Sounders find their way? That ball's going to get thrown into the box. And that's going to try to get cleared as Josh Bell will find it. Rienzi's going to play this out wide to Roldan on the right-hand side. And that ball's going to get tipped out right there by Galan. Seattle will try this again. Good crowd of Sounder fans. Emerald City supporters behind their home net. And what would be considered the Broman. As that ball's played in. Headed away. Alvarez. That ball's going to get played all the way to the right. It's going to be Rienzi 1v1. Played in. Tipped. Shoots. Deflected. And here comes Athletco Madrid. It's Sarloff now. Playing it all the way out to the left, to the right. It's Julian Alvarez now. Acres of space. Dumps it forward. Chipped. And out. Ooh. It's just amazing how quick Athletco Madrid can get forward. In a blink of an eye, they just switch it on. They covered the entire pitch. Less than 3 seconds. As this ball is going to be played and out of play. So Atletico Madrid will have a throw in on the right-hand side. 20 minutes in. It was nice. It was nice seeing Seattle put on the pressure right there. They nearly equalized there. And I do give them credit because Athletico, yes, they have the pace and it looks like they have the technical ability. But Seattle's playing on sheer guts in this first half. Here's Lenormand. Here's Jimenez. As he tried to play this one forward, it's tipped out right there by Ian Baker Whiting. Reed Baker Whiting. As that will be a Athletico throw-in. Here's Galan. As they're going to pass. There's Barrios. And they'll try to play this one in. As that pass was intended for Barrios, but Seattle intercepts it as they're trying to make their way forward. Here's Seattle's break. It's going to be Rusnik. Dribbling forward. Acres of space. Lays it off just a little too hard. It's going to get out for a goal kick. As he was looking for that through ball for Paul Rothrock. It looked like he had the step to turn the corner. That ball was just a little too weighted. Ugh. 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 As that ball is played forward, a little too far forward, and Seattle will have possession. It's going to be De La Vega here, who's just going to turn and run forward. That ball's swiped. Here comes Athletico. Oh, and that here's Julian Alvarez down on the left, and they'll slow it down now as Alvarez is going to try to play the ball. As they're going to play this one back to Jimenez. Here's Lorente. And they're going to have to play this one all the way back over to Galan right there. Or Lenormand. Here's Galan. Nice little give and go. Here's Barrios up the left-hand side. And he beats through two Sounders to keep this one going. Sarloff now, as he plays it back to Barrios, who's gonna switch all the way to the right-hand side. Moving forward. Into the box. Crossed. Tipped away. But still in the box is Barrios. Here's Alvarez. That ball's tipped and deflected. And Rusnik. And that ball's going to get cleared all the way up the pitch. Whole block. Here's Lenormand playing it forward to Galan. Galan. Pushing up the left-hand side. Intercepted right there by De La Vega, and Seattle will try to reset here. And Rienzi's going to try to play this one forward, taken away by Athletco Madrid. Here's Coca. He's got to lay this one back. And here's Jimenez. Back to Coca. Here's Barrios, who's going to play this one back. And Lenormand will track back. As the work rate is unreal. Here's Alvarez playing one forward. Ooh, save. Ooh, that was a save. Oh, he was 1v1. Sarloth again was 1v1 against Stefan Fry, but he puts no shot on. Just a weak tap that Stefan Fry was able to corral there. And how Seattle's going to try to work their way. That ball's all the way up the left-hand side. Paul Rothrock off the chest, a little too hard. And there's Lorente to take this one down. Flicked on to Jimenez. Now all of a sudden, here comes Atletico Madrid. And it looks like it's Koke on the ball right now. Here's Barrios. He's got to lay this one back. As they're going to play it centrally to Barrios, who turns, lays it off. And there's Rienzi right there to intercept. Here's Vargas. He's trying to dribble out of trouble. They can't figure it out. Here's Christian Roldan. Up. Here's Rienzi now. Rienzi trying to play through the mid, and he certainly does. It's Baker Whiting now. He's going to play this up to Paul Rothrock up the left-hand side. Rothrock cuts in. Dribbling forward. And there's a whistle. And it'll be a Sounders free kick. And Atletico Madrid can't believe it. It looks like that one's going to be on Lorente right there. Yeah, and I don't know. I think there might be a case right there for Atletico Madrid. And there's Infantino in the luxury loft. It looks like he's chilling with Adrian Hanauer, the owner of the Sounders, right there. So it'll be a free kick from about 25 yards. As the Sounder faithful are wiggling their fingers in anticipation, doing the ooh. It'll be Rusnak hitting on this ball as we're waiting for the whistle. There's the whistle. Here's Rusnak, who puts one on, deflected. That's going to get out, I believe, for a Sounder throw-in, as there is a man down on the turf. It looks like somebody, potentially took one right off the face right there. Thank you very much, Anthony. I appreciate it. As we look at that one again, yeah, it looks like he took it right off the face. So 28 minutes in, as Atletico leads 1-0 here in Seattle. As Rienzi is going to try to throw this one into the box. Sarloth is going to head this one out. Ooh, and Rothrock almost pulled one on. It's Oblak will have the football here. Yeah, Seattle's going to try to play the press. That one played all the way to the left. A little too aggressively there. As Baker Whiting is going to hit that one out of bounds. And that'll be a throw-in. Played all the way back to Oblak. Here's Lenormand. Galan. Who's going to have to play this forward? He does. But right there is Jackson Reagan. Oh, as there were a pass that was intended right there to Obed Bargid, just a little too forward. As Athletico now is going to try to play through this. Here's Koke. He's going to play it all the way to the right. Here's Simeone now, racing forward. Simeone lays it off to Lorente, who plays it back. Koke puts one on and well over the crossbar. Actually, I think that might have been DePaul. It was. Simeone is telling his club to calm down there. Get a little ahead of themselves. Seattle will have the goal kick here, as Fry will boot this one forward. As Lenormand will head that. It's right down to it looked like Christian Roldan, who played it left, as Paul is in trouble there. As I played this, played all the way to the left to Galan. Here's Koke now. Here's DePaul, who's going to play this one off the right-hand side, but taken away by Baker Whiting. Nice move right there. And here comes Baker Whiting down the left-hand side, and he's trapped on the touch line right there. And there's the whistle. Tried to play it through Lorente's legs. Gets taken down to the turf, and then, of course, there's a whistle. Nice little move right there by Baker Whiting. As Lorente puts his hands on him. As we're a half hour in, still 1-0, Athletco Madrid. I would say, considering the way that the Madrid started, I give all credit to the Sounders for keeping themselves at 1-0 while still trying to scratch and claw their way. And that's a nice little move right there by Rusnik, who lays it forward. Christian Roldan shoots. Ooh. Oh, as that ball ping pong, it found Josh Bell's foot, who puts one on. And that was a nice save right there by Oblak, as Christian Roldan put one on. Put one right back to Rusnik as that ball ping ponged, and it found Josh Bell's foot, who put one on net. Good save right there by Oblak. That easily could have been 1-1. And that's going to be headed down. Look at that. Look at Jackson Reagan trying to play one into Rothrock. Tip. Rolled on. And he skies one over the crossbar. Come on, Christian. Nice ball movement right there by the Sounders to get rolled on free. He just had a bad shot on net, so it'll be a goal kick for Athletico, as that ball is going to be booted forward. Looks like Bell's going to try to head this one away, and Barrios will keep it. As Galan's going to have to play this one back. There's Lenormand. Going to try to play this one up the left-hand side, and there's going to be a whistle. I believe that's going to be on Mosowski. Seattle has 6 total attempts on goal. As Galan works out of trouble, there's Lenormand all the way to Jimenez now. Jimenez is going to play this one forward. Looks like it's Alvarez trying to drill out of trouble, and he does. Here's Simeone to the other side. as that ball was crossed and out past the end line, so it'll be a Seattle goal kick. As much as flair as they had in the first 20 minutes, Atletico Madrid really hasn't shown the same necessary, the same ball movement per se. But now, granted, again, they have the speed advantage, but they're not necessarily moving the ball with intent as they did within the first 20 minutes. And Seattle has slowly been able to get back into this one. Look at Pedro de la Vega. Actually, and it was Lenormand that actually kept that ball from de la Vega. Wow, good footwork right there. Here's Koke. As they're going to try to attack down the right-hand side, and they sure do. Nice little play right there, dumped off. It's going to be Julian Alvarez. Here's Simeone. Nice little, tries to get around the corner, and he does. That's Reed Baker Whiting. And I think they're going to say this is a penalty. Did he get into the box? Good determination right there by Reed Baker Whiting to keep him from the corner. I just think Simeone. I think that was outside the box. And it was. I don't think that should be a penalty. At any rate, that should be a free kick right outside the box, but they're going to give them a penalty. So it'll be Julian Alvarez to put Atletico up 2-0 here in the 36th minute. As they're taking a VAR check here. As they are checking this one. And it didn't look like he was brought down in the box. It looked like he was brought down out of the box, falling in the box. This should be a free kick. Yep, and now it's going to VAR. Absolutely. Which means this thing is mostly coming back. It's not where he lands, it's where he was tackled. And he was tackled outside the box. He was a full step full step from the white line coming into the box. There's the foot, and then he goes down. But that happened outside the box. As you see it on the replay. He takes a step. He's not in the box. He falls in the box. But that should be a free kick. As he didn't get in the box. He wasn't even on the white line. Yeah, this has to be a free kick. As we all have our decision here. Yep, no penalty. Absolutely, that was not a penalty. As Reed Baker Whiting was bailed out right there by VAR because that was looking like it was going to be a penalty right there. Seattle avoids it. Yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. Six attempts on goal for sure. Yeah, and the reality is that you're not going to be, you're not going to be able to get that one right there. And as Simeone was coming around, he clearly sees that he steps outside the box and falls into the box right there. So Seattle avoids the penalty. That's a huge break for the Sounders, as Bell's going to play this over to Jackson Reagan, as Athletico is trying to put up the press. And that ball is going to get tipped out. I think that's going to be a Sounder throw-in. It is, as Lenormand will tip that one out. 1v1 against Pedro de la Vega. Here's Rienzi, who's got to play this one back to Bell. Bell's going to try to play this up the left-hand side. There's Rothrock as that comes down. And here's Jimenez now. Here's Koke looking for a way to go, and he does. He finds Lenormand. As Lenormand's going to play this one up to Barrios. Barrios inside to Alvarez. Alvarez is going to play this up the left-hand side. That goes right through the legs of Lorente right there. And that's going to get out for a Seattle throw-in. You wonder if Lorente just took his eyes off the ball right there. Here's Vargas now. And Vargas will find some relief with Jackson Reagan, who's going to try to play this up the right-hand side as Pedro de la Vega makes a heavy touch, but he's able to keep possession. And now Jackson Reagan will have to go back, and he does, all the way to Stephon Fry. Here's Oped Vargas now, trying to dribble forward, and he does. He finds some space, and now he's going to get pulled down by DePaul, as DePaul tries to help him up. And there's a yellow. And DePaul gets a yellow. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. That's Rodrigo DePaul. Yeah, I guess that might have been a little rough right there, although he did have his arm. And he just steps on the back of his shoe. Steps on the, I guess the Achilles tendon right of him. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So after the reset, here are the Sounders. That's a nice little play through. Here's Mazovsky, who's going to lose possession here. And Athletico will have to reset. They do. Here's Lenormand. That's De La Vega coming from the right-hand side to put heat on him. Yes, looks like somebody's shoe came off. It was Jimenez. The center back lost his shoe. And now he's getting a stern talking to. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Home dude lost his boot. That'll be a throw-in. As that ball's booted up, headed forward, and then out of play. So it'll be another Atletico Madrid throw-in at this point. We're in the 43rd minute. Just a few ticks until halftime, as that ball is going to get thrown in. And Reed Baker Whiting made a nice little attempt. Here's Rothrock. Tried to play it forward. And Athletico now will try to play this forward, and they sure do up the right-hand side. Played in the middle of the field. Here's Barrios as he lets this one go. De La Vega gets a tip on it. And now it'll be a sprint all the way forward. It's Galan. Cuts in. Plays it forward. Here's Barrios now. Outside the box on the left-hand side, who's going to drop it back to Galan. Here's Julian Alvarez. And that's Barrios. Who's going to play this one forward to Jimenez. All the way out to the right. They're going to try to play this one back. It looks like it's DePaul. Here's Lorente. And Atletico is going to have to cycle this one back as Jimenez. And that's played across the left-hand side to Lenormand. And he'll dump it off to Barrios there. And they're going to have to play this one back and try to cycle. As that ball is going to be switched over the right-hand side. It's Llorente. And now he's got to play it back. It's Jimenez. Here's Barrios. As that's going to go all the way to the left-hand side. It's Galan. 1v1 against De La Vega, who gets his foot in there. And there's a whistle on De La Vega, who is arguing. And he's astonished that he would get a whistle against him. As we check the replay, that was actually a good tackle right there by De La Vega. And it looks like the lawn just fell from forward momentum right there. That looked like a clean tackle right there by De La Vega, but it will be a free kick nonetheless. And it'll be Julian to take the free kick here, as there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half. Seattle trailing 1-0. And that ball's going to be headed away off the free kick from De La Vega. It'll be a throw-in. Here's Coca. Back to Julian Alvarez. Off the left touchline. And Coca is going to try to swing this one up to the right as Baker Whiting is all over Llorente, but they'll play this one back to DePaul. DePaul's going to try to cut in and dribble forward. He does. Nice little layoff to Barrios, who's going to try to fling this one out to the left-hand side. He finds Galan. Galan, 1v1 against Rienzi. Ball over across the top. It's Llorente. And that goes off the side of his foot and out for a goal kick. Good ball movement right there by Atletico Madrid. I would probably think that Schmetzer is going to be happy potentially going into the changing room down 1-0 when it possibly could have been 2, possibly 3 for Atletico in that first half. But Seattle has actually done a pretty good job of getting forward and actually kind of making this one a little nasty. A lot of fight, a lot of heart, a lot of determination. Here's Rienzi. And it looked like it was going to be Rusnik who gets his back pocket picketed. Julian Alvarez. And look at Roldan taking the ball away from Alvarez. And that ball's going to try to get chipped forward. Played forward. Nice little ball by Rienzi. Rienzi crosses it. Headed away. Here's Rusnik. Rusnik is trying to find somebody. It's Reed Baker Whiting. Ooh, and he just put one just past the post. Woo. Woo. As Rienzi played it forward, gets one across, headed away by Llorente all the way down to Rusnik, who found Reed Baker Whiting open at the top of the box, and he just missed the post right there. As Seattle has had its chances. Good Lord. And it looks like that's going to do it for the first half. At Lumen Field, 1-0 Atletico Madrid. A goal by Pablo Barrios in the 11th minute. And I will say, again, Major League Soccer sides definitely are at a disadvantage just when you look at depth and when you look at the quality of depth a team like Atletico Madrid has versus a Major League Soccer side, and of course, just not just in terms of squad rotation, but in terms of your starting 11. And you look at the talent discrepancies between the two, and obviously Atletico Madrid definitely has that advantage. technical ability, speed, size, whatever you want to say. But that being said, all that being said, after that first, 15 minutes, when it was all Atletico Madrid, man, Seattle really figured out a way to get in. And they did well. I thought Seattle performed well. And again, I think Schmetzer is happy to go into this locker room down 1-0, because it easily could have been 2 or 3, because Atletico Madrid there had a few opportunities, and I actually think that Sarloth actually had 2 himself. 1v1 that sailed over the crossbar, and then of course Julian Alvarez, who absolutely shook the checks off of Josh Bell's Nikes, and was 1v1 and put it wide. So, Atletico Madrid has done a very good job. But that being said, man, Seattle has equally himself has a lot to hang their head on. Let's take a look at the stats real quick. Possession, Atletico Madrid 65 to Seattle's 35. XG, that remains with Atletico Madrid as well too. 2.11 to 0.50 for Seattle. Total shots 10 for Atletico, 7 for Seattle. Shots on target 3 to Seattle's 1. Big chances 3, Seattle 1. Big missed chances again 3 for Atletico Madrid, 1 for Seattle. Accurate passes 265 for Atletico, 121 for Seattle. Fouls committed 6-3. Both teams have 1 corner each. The big one here, shots on target 3-1, shots inside the box 8-3, and Seattle actually shots outside the box definitely lead that one. But here's the weird thing, right? So you look at passes. Passes in their own half, obviously Atletico 124, Seattle 82, but passes in the opposition half 141 to 39. Accurate long balls 12-7, Atletico Madrid. Accurate crosses 5-1, and touches in the opposition box after the first half 24 for Atletico Madrid and 7 for Seattle. Duels 32 to 22 Atletico. Ground duels 21-20. Aerial duels 11-2, and successful dribbles 8-5. So first half dominance for Atletico Madrid, and not surprised whatsoever here as we take a look around the Club World Cup yesterday. We had a few. Manchester City beat Wydad AC 2-0, and that's even with Manchester City going down a man with a red card. Real Madrid and Al Hilal played to a 1-1 draw. Red Bull Salzburg beat Pachuca 2-1, and Juventus beat Al Ain 5-0. And today, Palmeiras beat Al Ahly 2-0. Inter Miami beat Porto 2-1. And later tonight will be PSG versus Botafogo. The interesting thing is that I guess there was some interesting comments made regarding Dortmund and the fact that, the crowd for Dortmund versus Fluminense wasn't exactly the best. Yeah, so to speak. And I think, from an American standpoint, it would have been something had they given the token start to Gio Reyna, who's playing for Dortmund in this Club World Cup. The U.S. men's national team center mid, again, relegated to the bench, which I guess is not all that surprising. I was assuming that, we were going to see a lot of Gio this summer. In the Club World Cup. That hasn't transpired yet. But, the interesting thing is, I think you're going to see larger crowds obviously in the group play for larger teams, your PSGs, your Man Cities, Chelsea, um, Real Madrid. Yeah, like you're going for Bayern Munich, you're going to see larger crowds, man. I don't think that, I don't think that, I think that's a given. But I would probably assume as this tournament hits the knockout rounds and you're going to see, strength versus strength in that capacity, I'm sure we're going to start seeing some very good crowds. I think everybody understands exactly, the pool play with the group stages that, you know, for at least for the US based fans with MLS sides, um, it's an opportunity to see your club again. Play against, for Seattle, for Sounders fans, it's an opportunity to see your side against, a Brazilian side, Atletico Madrid and PSG. And if you're one of those players, it's an absolute privilege to be in that in this competition. But that being said, when are you ever able going to see your team play against a Champions League winner? The answer is never, really. So you take advantage of what's in front of you and you enjoy the opportunity. But as far as crowd size goes, man, that's going to happen in the knockout rounds. Anthony, who says decent stats for the Sounders. Yeah, I would agree. Considering the talent gap between the two teams, Seattle has been able to get forward and get goal dangerous on a few different occasions. And I like to see it. As a matter of fact, I think 3 times in that first half they were nearly able to equalize, and it feels like the Sounders are probably going to figure it out and get at least one in this one. Whether or not they're going to find the result, I find it hard to believe. But if they can figure out, for instance, if they can equalize and do their best to not concede that late goal that always seems to plague them, to walk out of this one with a 1-1 draw, man, that's not bad. And he goes on to say it's over for Gio. I wouldn't say that at all. I think it's too soon to say it's over. Now it's over for Gio at Dortmund, 100%. That if that's where you're going with it, 100%. Because I think everybody understands the writings on the wall with Dortmund. They just don't have a place for him. They're not, from what I hear, he's not great with teammates. Has a little bit of a spoiled attitude. I think this potentially could be an opportunity for Gio to start fresh somewhere else where he's not handed anything and he has to earn it. And I think that would be beneficial for his career, not just club wise, but also the national team as well too. There's no doubt that Gio's got talent, but the reality is he's at that age now where he's like 22. It's certainly not over club wise, but what he has to do is he has to figure out a team, go to a team that has an open competition at his position. He goes there, works hard, and earns his spot and keeps his spot. I think that's the first step of it. And then also for him being able to stay healthy. Last year and a half has been just brutal for Gio when it comes to injuries. But that being said, I still think he's young enough where he can turn it around. But the reality is there's also the equation with his dad, Claudio, who has been working behind the scenes, pulling the strings for his kid. And the reality is it's, if Gio wants to get the respect, he's gonna have to break from his dad, and he's gonna have to make decisions for himself, and he's gonna have to, at least once in his career, earn his spot on a team. We'll see. But I still think that he's young enough where he might be able to rebound. He goes on to say his new wife ruined him. I don't know anything about that. I don't know who's his wife. Let's find out. Let's find out. Interesting. Well, he's certainly, yeah, okay. So he's engaged. Yeah, she's all right. She's okay. Nothing to write home about. But that being said, you know why she married him, or is going to marry him. That's obvious. But that being said, I really do hope that Gio is able to turn it around. As we are getting set for the start of the second half here, it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be any changes at the half for Athletico. You know, are they going to switch things up and bring key players off, understanding that, you know, it is what it is. It's group play against Seattle. You know, the question is, you know, do they, you know, does Simeone look at this and say there's enough on the pitch already, you know, that's capable of getting one more goal, obviously, but for too young to be married. But that being said, you know, it means something. But at the end of the day, man, it's group stage play, right? And I would think that, you know, the Inder Sounders fan in me kind of hopes that Barrios and Alvarez come off the pitch. That would be great. But that being said, it's going to be interesting. I think for me, the keys for the second half of the Sounders is, again, to start as quickly as you possibly can. But you know, one of the things that the Sounders have to do is be a little bit more brave, be a little bit more creative, especially, it's not like it. I'll say this, man, for as good as Atletico's press has been, Seattle has found space to turn and move upfield, and to be able to get passes in. But that being said, as soon as Atletico collapses on the ball and they try to make weighted passes, it seems like it's a little rushed, and sometimes their attack ends before it necessarily begins. So there's a few things to clean up from Seattle side, but I would like to see them be on the front foot, be a little bit more brave to start the second half, and really challenge that net. As we are waiting for the second half now, he goes on and says that he's too young to be married. I don't know about that, man. 22, that's fine. That dude's made money. He can handle it. The question is he mature enough to get married? That's really the question. I doubt it. And does she want to be married to a spoiled brat? Yeah. As we are waiting for the start of the second half here in Seattle, Athletico leading 1-0. Looks like the players are back on the field now. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any changes for Athletco Madrid. Not that I really thought there was going to be. And it looks like Seattle is also not going to make any changes as we start the second half here. And there's Christian Roldan rallying the troops now. And we are almost ready to go. Actually, there is going to be a change here. It looks like Axel Witzel's coming in for Jimenez now. So it looks like there's going to be a change at the center back position for Atletico Madrid. As we're ready for kick here, as we start the second half, it'll be Barrios above the ball, and he's going to boot this one down. Here's to Paul. There's Wetzel. And that's going to be dropped off the Lenormand. And here comes Athletico playing forward up the left-hand side as he's going to dribble all the way through 3 Sounders. And it's going to be Stefan Fry. He's going to come out of his box to kick this one forward. Headed forward, but right to Obed Vargas. And then he's going to have his back pocket picked. Here's DePaul. Rodrigo DePaul on the ball. He's going to play this one forward. Here's Lorente up the right-hand side. That ball is going to get tipped. He's free a little too hard. And I think that's going to go out for a goal kick. It looks like that tip forward to Lorente was just a little too hard. But right there was Reed Baker Whiting right there to cover. Oh, they're going to say a corner kick. Wow. Okay. All right. So it'll be Alvarez who's going to play this one short. Here's Alvarez. Who's going to lay this back to DePaul. Who's going to try to chip this forward. Lorente smashes one. That was a save. And I think Wetzel put it in. Or are they going to say Lorente? I got to check this replay because it was originally saved, I think. And I think Wetzel probably got in there. As we look at this one, it was DePaul who lays it off to Alvarez, who eventually went back to DePaul. And it was Lorenz at the top of the box who put one on. And it hits the crossbar. Oh, and I think that might have been an own goal. So there's the original shot. It was saved, and then it hits the crossbar, bounces up as Stefan Fry went out to get it. Oh, yeah. And it was just crossed right back in underneath the arms of Stefan Fry right off the head of Wetzel. And it's 2-0 Atletico Madrid. 2-0. Ugh. Not the way you want to start the second half if you're Seattle, now down 2. As we're in the 47th minute now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's DePaul now. As they're going to play this one up the left-hand side now. As that ball is going to be crossed. As Simeone. Yikes. Yikes. Ugh. There's Baker Whiting now in a little bit of trouble. He's got to play it back to Stefan Fry. Stefan Fry now. As they're going to play this one up the right-hand side now. Nice play by Rienzi. Rienzi dribbling forward now. Past the halfway line. Cuts. He's going to lay this one back off. It's Obed Vargas. Sounders are getting numbers forward. It's Rothrock on the left-hand side. Rothrock is going to play this over to De La Vega, who shoots just over the crossbar from long range. Damn. And that was off target. As De La Vega was hunting goal, was looking. It goes up and just over the angle there. That was Atletico Madrid now. Tries to get forward. That's going to be tipped forward. Here's Obed Vargas. Obed is in the box. Tries to push it forward. Headed off. Shoots, and it's a goal! Albert Rusnik gets Seattle on the board. Woo! In the 50th minute, the Sounders finally respond. as that ball was headed forward and it found Obed Vargas. And I think that's going to come back, though. Looks like Rothrock might have been offsides. As that ball went in, it was crossed over by Vargas, headed down by Mazovsky right at the foot of Rusnik, who beats the keeper, Oblak. And it's 2-1. And they're going to say it stands. And the Sounders are right back into this one as that was tipped out. Tipped out of bounds by Simeone. Throw in for the Sounders. And Roldan will play it all the way to Jackson Reagan, who's going to play this one forward. It's De La Vega who tries to tip it forward. De La Vega, who's going to lay this one off to Reed Baker Whiting, who's going to try to play this one forward for Rothrock, who does. Tips it forward and over. Can Rothrock beat the corner? It's not. It's as Lorente beat him. But now Reed Baker Whiting on the touchline. As Seattle now all of a sudden has new life breathed into him after the goal. As it'll be a Athletico throw-in. As that ball is going to go all the way down. Tip forward. And that's going to get out of bounds for a Seattle throw-in. Nice play by Jackson Reagan. As that ball's going to get played forward, tipped ahead by Rothrock, but down to the foot of Lorente, who's going to play this all the way back to Oblak. Here's Javier Galan. He's going to play this one back to Oblak. Here's Rusnik trying to apply the press now. And that's going to get out for Seattle throw-in. Nice little recovery run there by Paul Rothrock that forced that ball out. As the Sounders now are forced to play this back to Stefan Fry. Fry's going to play this forward up the right-hand side to De La Vega. Tip forward. Here's Galan now. And there's a whistle as Galan hit the turf. And they're going to call this one against Christian Roldan. Play resumes. Here's Lenormand. Out to Galan. Plays it into Julian Alvarez, who comes deep to make a touch. And that ball's going to have to go all the way back to Witzel. Nice little play right there. Here comes Lorente down the right-hand side. Lorente's looking for relief. Tried to play it forward, but nice play by Obed Vargas. And hitting the turf right there, I believe, is DePaul. It is. We are in the 53rd minute now. 54th. 2-1 Atletico Madrid as Madrid essentially opened up the second half with a goal by Wetzel on a header right at the goal line. And Seattle responded. Albert Rusnik. Now it's 2-1 with a free kick as DePaul standing over this one. And that's going to be laid short here. Played it forward to DePaul. That's going to be deflected out by Rienzi. And now Lorente will take the throw, and that's going to get into the box. Tip forward. Oh, and it was Barrios. As that ball was tipped forward, it went off the side. It landed right at the foot of Barrios, who slams into the back of the net, and it's 3-1 now, Atletico Madrid. As the throw goes in, it was Josh Bell who tried to hit that forward, and it just lands right at the foot of Barrios, and he goes top shelf to the right hand side, beating not only Jackson Reagan but Stefan Fry. Nice shot right there by Barrios, and it's 3-1 now. Athletico. And this young kid is just amazing, man. I think he's like, what, 22? He's so good. Yeah, as the Sounders will reset now. Here's Obed Vargas. Lays it off for Reed Baker Whiting. And here's Jackson Reagan. Up the right-hand side now to De La Vega, who goes in to Vargas. As Obed. And he'll lay this off for Bell. Plays it centrally. As the pressure, that thing is going to get tipped. Look at Rothrock. Now there's a whistle. As that'll go against Rothrock right there. Trying to make a play. A little 50-50 jump ball right there. Against Simeone. So it'll be a free kick. As Wetzel will tap this forward to DePaul. Headed away by Baker Whiting, but right there is Lorente. Down the right-hand side. Plays it in. Locked away. And Wetzel will try to play this one in. Looks like it's going to be Christian Roldan. Tries to play it forward. And yeah, there's a whistle right there. As the restart happens, here's Christian Roldan. As Roldan's looking for something to do, lays it off to Rusnik. Rusnik is going to have to switch it all the way to the right. It's Jackson Reagan. Reagan's going to try to play this forward to De La Vega. De La Vega lays it off, and it's Rienzi. Back to Reagan, who's going to try to play this centrally, and he does. It's Roldan. Off to Rusnik. Over to Rothrock off the left-hand side. Rothrock gets everything deflected. And it was Musovsky there. Coming down with it, but Oblak ends up with the ball right there. Ooh, as Musovsky almost scored. As Rothrock cross was deflected, it bounced up and it found Musovsky in the box. We tried to get something on it. But here comes Athletico, and it's Barrios. All the way over. And it looks like it's Simeone on the right-hand side. 1v1 against Baker Whiting. You're going to play it back to Lorente. Here's Simeone. All the way back to DePaul. Nice little move in there trying to find Alvarez. That's tipped away. It's Rothrock. Nice little flick. It's Rusnik in traffic. He's going to tip this forward. It's Obed Vargas who's got to play it all the way forward. But there's Oblak right there to boot this one forward. Oh, nice play by Simeone. And here's Sarloff now at the right-hand touchline. That's going to get tipped away by Bell. For an Athletico throw-in. We're in the 60th minute now. And it looks like Jesus Ferreira is going to check in for Musovsky. And it looks like Kent's going to check in for De La Vega. So off go Musovsky and De La Vega. On come Kent and Ferreira. That's a good soccer number 77. That dude is muscly. That dude's got muscle. There's the throw-in. That's going to be tipped forward. Rothrock. Ooh! That was Alvarez off the tip. Try to put one on. It goes wide. Can Seattle inch into this one? Inch their way back in. That was right off the outside foot. And he hits the crossbar. He was so close. Freaking Alvarez. Damn. As Fry boots this one forward. Headed forward right there. Nice play by Jesus Ferrer right there. Here's Reed Baker Whiting. Nice move. He's going to lay it off to Kent off the left-hand side. Here's Christian Roldan. As Bell's going to find Rienzi, who's going to play this one forward. That's going to be tipped away by Lenormand. Nice move by Rothrock right there. Ooh. Nice play by Simeone right there. And it's Galan. He's going to try to play this one forward. And it's Coca. He's looking for somewhere to go, and he does. He finds Alvarez in traffic, tipped away. Jackson Reagan. Here's Bell, who's going to try to play this one forward. Ferreira knocks it down. Here's Jesus Ferreira, who's going to play this off to the right. It's Paul Rothrock. He's going to lay it down to Obed Vargas. Here's Rothrock on the right-hand side. Tried to play it centrally to Roldan. Taken away. Here's Barrios. Moving forward. Barrios. And that's taken away by Roldan. No whistle. Good defense right there by the Sounders. Now that's tipped away. As Simeone goes down like he broke his leg. Just give him the yellow. There you go, bud. As Rothrock will take the yellow. But damn. Unbelievable. Yeah, okay, that's a yellow. As they went to the ref cam right there, who was absolutely on it, and now Simeone's down, clutching his shin, and it looks like Antoine Griezmann is planning to come in along with Conor Gallagher. That's going to be interesting. Looks like the physios put on the spray outside the sock, which is interesting. But it looks like it's going to be Conor Gallagher and Antoine Griezmann set to come in now. And it looks like Barrios might be coming off here in the 63rd minute, which makes a lot of sense here. As Alex Roldan will come in for the Sounders. So Athletico will bring in Conor Gallagher and Antoine Griezmann, and Seattle responds with Alex Roldan, a Paraguayan international. Nice interception right there by Josh Bell. This play resumes up the right-hand side. Looks like it's going to be Rothrock. That was Obed Vargas, who actually gets pushed out. It'll be an Athletico throw-in. So it looks like Sarloff is coming off and DePaul's coming off. And it'll be Antoine Griezmann and Conor Gallagher. There he is. Now it looks like DePaul's coming off. So off comes Rodrigo de Paul, and out on comes Conor Gallagher. And it looks like Paul Rothrock comes off for the Sounders now, as it'll be Alex Roldan. Here's Conor Gallagher up on the touchline right now. That ball is going to be played forward. Nice interception right there by Baker Whiting, who tries to go to the left-hand side just too far forward, and it'll get out, looking for Kent on that left-hand side. Oh, nice. Nice tip and interception. Here's Kent now. And it was Conor Gallagher getting in the way. But here's the shot. That's going to get deflected. Up and over the bar right there. So Galan makes a nice deflection. That'll get out, though, for a corner. Nice little pass right there to Alex Roldan, who put one on, but that was a nice shot. That was a nice block by Galan right there. Here's Albert Rusnik now. He will take the corner from the right-hand side. That ball's going to get whipped in. Jackson Reagan, as Rienzi puts one on and over. There's Schmetzer. There's the Schmetz. Taking notes as he sees his side down 3-1. Mets will play. Here's Christian Roldan taking the ball away, and that's going to go all the way back to Reed Baker Whiting, who's going to play it all the way back to Fry. And the Saddles reset on the left-hand side. It's Baker Whiting. Back to Fry again, who is under a little pressure. Here's Vargas, who's going to get played forward, but that's just a little too hard as that ball deflects off of Vargas. Turns around now. Here's Galan at the top of the screen. Who's going to lay this one back to Lorente, who's got to play this one back. Here's Wetzel. Here's Lorente. Played it forward. Nice little give and go as Barrios missed that forward pass. And here's Christian Roldan, who's going to play this over to Jackson Reagan. Reagan now is going to move the ball forward here. That's going to get laid off the left-hand side. It's Alex Roldan. Roldan nowhere to go. It's going to be Obed Vargas. Plays it over to Reed Baker Whiting. Lays it off to Kent now, off the left-hand side. Kent tries to cut in, lays it off to Obed Vargas. Sounders are looking for a way in. Obed tried to challenge Barrios. There was nothing there. Nice little flick on by Kent, finding Obed Vargas. And there's a turnover. Nice. Look at Christian Roldan. There's a whistle, though. And Christian Roldan does not agree with this call. I don't blame him. That was a nice little hustle play. As Simeone goes down, but Athletico will make another change here as Koke comes out. And here comes Correa. As we are in the 70th minute now. Nice play by Reed Baker Whiting. As Bell will flick it on over to Jackson Reagan as the Sounders are looking to move up that right-hand side. They're going to have to play this a little bit more centrally to Christian Roldan. That's all the way to the left now. Here's Baker Whiting, who has to try to cut. Plays it into Roldan. That was Albert Rusnik. Here's Christian Roldan again. That ball's going to get floated up the left-hand side. And there's Oblak. As that was Alex Roldan on a run up the right-hand side right there. Not a bad idea. As Wetzel's going to move this forward. Here's Lorente. As here comes Athletco Madrid. I believe this is Antoine Griezmann. Who's going to lay this one off to Conor Gallagher, former Chelsea man, who last year went to Athletico on a nice little deal. Here's Griezmann. Nice little through ball right there. It's going to be Gallant beating his man, but not a great cross with Reed Baker Whiting. We'll have to play this one forward. Kept in. There's Simeone. Here's Lorente. Nice play. The Simeone was played in moving forward up that right-hand side. Lay this one off. Conor Gallagher. That's a chip in to Gallagher. Dumped off. And there's a whistle. Looks like it's going to go against Correa. It'll be a free kick for the Sounders now. As the Sounders are trying to figure out a way to get forward. Credit Athletco Madrid these last 10 minutes. That's Reed Baker Whiting now in traffic against Correa. Taken away. Alvarez plays it forward to Griezmann. And that ball is going to be way too forward as that ball gets out. As they were looking to switch it up to the right-hand side right there. Looking for Correa, but that ball goes out as the Sounders now. As they are being pressured. As Kent gets his back pocket pick, and it looks like it's going to be Simeone there. As that ball gets out, the Sounders will reset here with Jackson Reagan. Plays it forward now. Christian Roldan. Roldan going to play this out to the right to his brother Alex. Goes centrally back to Christian. He is looking for something. It's going to be Reed Baker Whiting on the left. 1v1. And Simeone is going to play forward and tip that one out of bounds. Throw him back into Christian Roldan. Obed Vargas. Nice play. Here's Rienzi. Played it forward to Jesus Ferreira. Ferreira tried to find Rusnik as that ball gets played out of bounds. Seattle throwing as we're approaching the 75th minute. 15 minutes left. Can the Sounders get one more? Yeah, it looks like Jesus Ferreira was offside. It's been just a little bit of a disappointing start for Jesus Ferreira's Sounders career. Didn't get off to the greatest starts this year as Seattle was dealing with injuries. He was expected to step in, but Brian Schmetzer has favored Guzovsky over Ferreira. As that ball is going to be tipped out, and I believe that's going to go to Atletico Madrid. As it looked like Barrios was trying to handle that ball. So we are getting dangerously close to the end of this one. Athletico leading 3-1. Can the Sounders get one? Here's Antoine Griezmann. It's going to be Correa. Here's Griezmann playing it forward. Looks like it might be Galan. Here's Conor Gallagher. Getting a little pressure from Ferreira. Here's Wetzel now as they switch sides to the right. Here's Simeone. It looks like Kent is trying to apply pressure. As that'll go all the way to the right. Looks like it might be Galan. Cuts in. Galan shoots. Saved by Stephon Fry. Here comes Christian Roldan. Playing it forward. Gonna have to lay this one off to the right. And there's a whistle, it looks like, on Conor Gallagher, and he's gonna be shown yellow here. The English international. Yeah, that's a little much right there by Conor Gallagher, as he got his foot in and used his hip to get him to the ground right there. As Christian Roldan will stay on the turf. Young Sounder fans everywhere. Good crowd today. Good capacity today. Looks like it's pretty damn full in Seattle today. I think for soccer, it's like, 50 some odd thousand. So, yeah, I'd probably say that it's somewhere in the 40s. Not a bad crowd. They're the Buffalo Gals. Good crowd for the Sounders. And it looks like, Rienzi and Rusnik are coming off. So coming in is João Paulo, the Brazilian, and it looks like Georgi Monungo will come in for the Sounders now. In the 78th minute. As they will replay. And Alex Roldan now will move to the right back position as Georgi Monungo will take his place at the right wing. As that ball is going to get tipped forward, it's going to be Georgi Monungo in the box. Georgi deflected. Ooh, it's a goal! Jesus Ferreira. And they're going to say he was offside. Oh, that's brutal. They're going to say that Jesus was offside. As that ball was played forward, it gets tipped. Oh, yeah, he was way offside. Yeah, offside. Miss Jesus Ferreira had absolutely no awareness. Here's Simeone now. And that's going to get out for a Seattle throw-in right there. So we're approaching the 80th minute now, as Seattle had a goal taken off for offsides. And it was the right call, 100%. And down on the turf right there is going to be João Paulo. Looks like Correa is going to get called for the whistle right there. Seattle. It will be a Seattle free kick here. As João Paulo will play it back. Look at Obed Vargas playing it around. It's going to be Kent up the left-hand side. Kent, try to cross it in. Oh, and Obed Vargas hits the turf in the box, but it's going to get deflected. And it looks like it'll be a Seattle corner here. Nice play by Conor Gallagher. As João Paulo will be taking the corner here. Seattle is down 3-1 here. As after Atletico Madrid scored their second, Seattle responded, but not soon after did Barrio score his second of the match, putting them up 3-1. There's the whip ball that's whipped in. Georgie Monongo puts one on, but right there is Oblak. As that ball is going to get booted forward. Right there is Bell, who's going to head it forward. Conor Gallagher was there to try to press it forward, but it looks like there's going to be a whistle against Conor Gallagher. So it looks like Julian Alvarez will come off and Molina will come on for Atletico Madrid, and I think that is the subs right there for Atletico. As Diego Simeone is about 9 minutes away from getting this one. And that's going to get out for a throw-in. Yep. Good heart and determination by the Sounders today, but talent for talent, it's no match. At will, Atletico was able to do what they do. Seattle played well, all things considered. Here's Christian Roldan, as that ball is going to sky up to the right. Here's Simeone, who's got to play this one back. Here's Conor Gallagher. He's got to play it back to Lenormand, who will play it to the right to Wetzel. Lays it off for Lorente, who's going to play it back to Oblak. And now they'll cycle. Here's Barrios. That's a bad touch. Christian Roldan. Nice hustle by Christian. Here's Georgie Monongo on the right side. He's going to hold it up and play it back. Here's João Paulo. Nice touch in. Nice play by Galan. And now Alex Roldan is screaming for a corner. And you'll get one. So here's João Paulo now, who's going to stand over this corner here. Can Seattle get one in? We are approaching the 85th minute. That ball's whipped in. Here's Monongo, who's going to play this one in. And it gets all the way through. Kent's going to cover the left side. Kent's trying to dribble forward. That's going to lay off. Here's Obed Vargas. Now he's got to turn. Gets the ball picked. Here comes Correa. He's going to play it off to the left. And Simeone is going to have to play this one back now. And here's Lorente. And it looks like Barrios has been shaken up a little bit. As we are in the 85th minute now. 5 minutes left. Oh, nice. No whistle. Wow. As Galan plays this one forward, tipped away by Reed Baker Whiting. And Sounders will try to reset this one. It's Bell. Now it's Jackson Reagan who's going to play this one forward. Here's Alex Roldan. And it's going to be Baker Whiting on the left. Here's Kent. Kent's going to get trapped against Molina. That ball's picked. Here's Antoine Griezmann now, pushing forward. Plays it off to the right. It's Simeone. Tries to play it forward. Nice deflection right there. And now Seattle will try to counter. Here's João Paulo. To the left, it's Baker Whiting. And he's got to play this all the way back to Stefan Fry now. As Christian Roldan will try to boot this. Like it's going to get tipped and deflected. Looked like it was Jackson Reagan. Nice duel right there by Reagan. So here comes Alex Roldan, who's going to push it forward to Georgie Monongo. Georgie, 1v1 against Galan. Now Gallagher joins the fray. He's going to lay this one off. Back to Monongo now. 1v1 against Galan. Plays it forward, intercepted right there by Antoine Griezmann. Now here comes Simeone, who's going to play this one and beats his man around the edge. Here comes Simeone pushing up the left side, and there's Christian Roldan. And there's the whistle. It's Simeone. Draws the foul in a dramatic fashion. As we look at this replay, it looks like Christian. Yeah, okay, yeah, he pushed him forward. He pushed him down. Yeah, Diego Simeone over there. Hands up. I was wondering where the foul is. They'll get it. 88th minute now. All things considered, I think the Sounders played pretty well today. As Athletico will play this one back. As Jackson Reagan will chase. As he lays it off to Reed Baker Whiting, and the Sounders will try to reset here. Here's Alex Roldan now. Plays it forward to the Pirate, Mr. Jesus Ferreira. As that ball gets tipped forward now. Here's João Paulo. As that ball is going to get played forward, that's just a little too far. Too far for Robin Vargas on what I consider a little bit of a half-hearted run right there, but it's all good. Here's Molina. Plays it forward. Nice little touch. Tries to find Connor Gallagher. That gets tipped back. Here's Barrios now. Barrios. Back to Lorente, who plays this one forward all day long. Here's Correa. Tries to play it off, and Jackson Reagan clears it. Oh, a nice move by Barrios, who keeps possession. We are now in stoppage time. 5 minutes for both Athletco Madrid and Seattle. Here's Correa now. Correa going to lay this one forward. Simeone, Griezmann, back to Griezmann. He's going to lay it off to Connor Gallagher. Gallagher. Plays it up to Simeone. Taken away by the Sounders. And João Paulo hits the deck. Nice play by Galan. Can the Sounders get forward? Here's Christian Roldan. Leads it off to his brother. Here's João Paulo. And that's going to go all the way to the right-hand side to Georgie Monongo. 1v1. Georgie cuts to the end line. Oh, and he kept it in bounds. Georgie, oh. Nice play by Georgie Monongo. Keeping that ball in. Here's Antoine Griezmann, and there's a whistle. This Griezmann hits the deck. It'll be Josh Bell. Free kick to Athletico. Today's man of the match. I think it's an unresolved. I think it's an unequivocal selection. Is Pablo Barrios with 2 goals today, the first and the third. He's had himself a heck of a match. As we are 2 minutes into stoppage time now. As that ball's booted forward. Headed forward right there by Alex Roldan. Tried to be tipped on forward, but it's Jesus Ferrer who comes down to make the touch. And now they're going to try to play this one centrally. Here's Reed Baker-Whiting catching it up with him. Plays it forward to Ken off the left-hand side. And now that ball's going to get taken away and out of bounds. Right there by Barrios. Throw in for the Sounders. Here's Christian Roldan. Jesus Ferrer tries to play it forward. There's just nothing there. Here's Roldan. Lays it forward to try to find Ferrer in traffic. And there's a whistle. João Paulo against Simeone. And Simeone is going to sit there and act like he got shot. Oh, dude, I hate floppers. He barely got his toe stepped on. 3.5 minutes into stoppage time now. Here's Molina. He's going to try to chip this forward. But there's João Paulo who heads it forward to Kent. Kent now off his chest. Tries to cut between 2 defenders, and that ball gets taken away as Conor Gallagher will play it back to Oblak. As that ball gets booted forward. Headed away by Reagan. It's Christian Roldan. Who plays it back to his brother. And up to João Paulo. Here's Jesus. Ferreira to Georgie Monongo on the right. Georgie can't get forward, so he's going to have to play this one back. There's a ball over the top for Georgie. That's going to get a little too weighted and out past the end line for a goal kick. 4 minutes and 15 seconds into stoppage time, and we are very close. And it looks like Athletco Madrid will get their first win in group play. As Seattle looks like they will move to 0-2 in pool play with PSG on their heels. It would have been nice to get a result for this one, but here's Monongo now in the box trying to get around the corner as that ball was taken away from Lorente. Nice by João Paulo, but there's a whistle. And it looks like this one has gone final. As Athletco Madrid will beat Seattle by a score of 3-1 Pablo Barrios with 2 goals in this one, leading the way. Interesting. All right, well, there it is. Now I give Seattle all the credit in the world for this one because they played hard, man. They really did, and I thought they had a good showing of themselves. But really, the talent discrepancy between these two teams are exactly what they are. Atletico Madrid, give all the credit, man, because technically they're just a far superior team, and that combination of Pablo Barrios and Julian Alvarez getting forward, those 1-2s, the ability just to ping the ball in the box at will. Seattle's back line is good, but they're MLS good. So there is a huge discrepancy. But that's going to do it for us tonight for the Club World Cup watch along in an hour. The U.S. men's national team will take on Saudi Arabia right here on Stateside Footy. Make sure you hit your like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you in about an hour.